Sorry about that cut for a sec. Just had to make sure that my headset was recording, because I adjusted my headset and didn't know if my mic was near my mouth and recorded any of that Whitney fight. Thankfully it did, so all things good. Yeah, Kinesis. I'm pretty sure Kinesis is exclusive to the Kadabra line. Well, Alakazam line. At least it was. It lowers accuracy. What's Barrage? Wow. Yeah, that Barrage is a pretty weak move. I am surprised that actually, because Barrage is like not a very strong move, but then again, I am a normal type and it is a few levels lower than me. Wow. What is with the criticals? What is with the criticals? This is just RNG the episode. We didn't psychic mark. I was wrong. Oh yeah, you predicted I would. Wow. Callion is evolving. What an episode. What an absolute episode. We beat Whitney with RNG. Callion was the MVP, and now Callion has evolved into Togetic. I actually wanted this to happen a while ago, and I am so glad it finally did. I think that is quite enough for today. Next time on Pokemon HeartGold SoulSilver, we're going to be continuing on to the next gym with our new... Actually, wait. One thing I actually forgot to mention is egg moves and Pokemon breeding. I actually forgot to mention this, and Callie just reminded me of it. In Pokemon, there are egg moves. Depending on the moves the parent has, they can pass them down to the egg. Togepi actually gets an egg move. It does not normally learn extrasensory. This is one of those examples, and if you want to know a list of egg moves, there's too many technicalities and special conditions that have to go with it. You're better just looking up a list of them, though just know egg moves are passed down by a single parent. It's not in the newer games where both parents pass down egg moves. It is only passed down by one parent, so you can't have certain combinations of those egg moves. This Togepi is special that you hatch because it does come with extrasensory, which is an egg move. Normally, it cannot learn extrasensory. I forgot to make a note of that, and if I have to clear things up, I probably will in the next episode. I just got way too sidetracked in this episode because of all the RNG hacks. Thanks, guys. See you next time, where we head on to the next gym and hopefully take our new Togetic out for a bit of a test. See you guys. Hopefully things go better in the next episode where I'm a bit more focused. Welcome back, guys, to Pokemon HeartGold and SoulSilver. Last time, we out-RNG'd the gym leader, Whitney, and got to the Pokeathlon Dome, and finally had our Togepi evolve into Togetic. Well, I kind of feel bad using a... Yeah, it's so great having Callion evolve now. I don't need to worry about it fainting and getting the happiness down. That is one of the reasons I play very cautiously when I have my Togepi, is that I don't want friendship going down with Togepi. Especially when it's at higher levels of friendship, the drop in friendship is crippling. But now I can use Togepi a lot more and just be more happy using it. It's kind of funny how it's our first evolved party member. Now we're actually going to be heading on to the next gym and seeing what this little weird tree has. One sec, actually, one sec. Sorry about that. This time, we're actually going to be doing something with this odd tree. We got to use a little squirt bottle on it. If this thing doesn't get out of our way, we will be forced to chop it down. The odd tree tacked. I like the little shake thing. It is actually not a tree. It is Sudowoodo. This thing is a bit of an Pokemon. It's not a rock. It's not a grass type. It's actually a rock type. This Pokemon starts out at level 20. This Pokemon is always level 20, no variation. It can be male or female, and its moves. Oh my god, I cannot speak this time either. All right. All right. Do over. All right. Sudowoodo. This Pokemon is oddly not a grass type. It is a pure rock type with a 70 base HP, 100 base attack, 115 base physical defense, 30 base special attack, 65 base special defense, and 30 base speed. This thing is not meant to be fast, it's meant to hit hard and take hits. It can do that job fairly well. I am not going to be risking Metronome on this Pokemon just because I don't want to knock it out. It is an interesting Pokemon that I really wish you got access to before fighting Whitney because it's very helpful for fighting her. Its move is that this one always has the following moves: Flail, Low Kick, Rock Throw, and Mimic. These moves would be so helpful for fighting Whitney. I mean, just think about it. You have a fighting type move on a decent attacking stat Pokemon that is fairly defensive and is a rock type, so it resists normal. It doesn't resist ground, which is what rollout does, deals rock type damage, but Sudowoodo is still a fairly tanky Pokemon. Mimic is also just a fantastic move for just using an opponent's move against it. Low Kick is a fighting move that deals damage based on the opponent's weight, and I believe Tank is pretty heavy. Rock Throw is just a great rock-type move in general to use. It doesn't have the ground subtyping like both Onix and Geodude's line, so you don't have that resistance to rock right there, but it's still a pretty good Pokemon to say the least, and I actually did consider using it on my team. I'm not going to, however. It is a great Pokemon, though. Flail also is a bit of an interesting move in that it deals more damage the less HP you have. So if a Sudowoodo has low HP, you can just use Flail and it'll do a heck of a lot of damage. This complements it well as it does have low speed and high defense. It's not a big deal if you accidentally KO the Sudowoodo and aren't planning to use it on your team, as it will just respawn here after you beat the game. And its abilities, however, are also... its abilities aren't too terribly useful from what I can remember. They are... Sturdy and Rockhead. Rockhead, however, is the more useful of them, as Sturdy has not received its Generation 5 buff yet. Rockhead is the more useful of the two. It gets some of those good... the good recoil moves like Double Edge. If you want a Pokemon that has, high-powered moves, and especially moves like Double Edge, it can use it well. There's another recoil-inducing move that it actually does cover a couple of its weaknesses, which is Wood Hammer. This is a base 120 physical grass move that does deal recoil damage, and does complement Togepi Sudowoodo. I'm still on Togepi. Does complement Sudowoodo very well. It does have its weakness to both ground and water, though it might not go faster than either of those two Pokemon. It's a pretty good Pokemon to use, and Rockhead is, in my opinion, the superior ability. It hits hard, mana hit fast, but it does its job well at being a defensive Pokemon. The next gym, it isn't going to be too very effective against, as normal and fighting moves aren't good against, the next gym. They actually do 0 damage to it. And see, actually there it's using Low Kick. If I was using a heavier Pokemon, it would do more damage. Do I want to go for... I'll go for Aerial Ace. Rock resists flying, and Aerial Ace is that powerful move. Yeah, I'm good there. Yeah, it learned Mimic, so it can just use Thunder Shock on me. I hope it doesn't paralyze me. Again, if you are trying for nature, not trying for nature, trying for abilities, go for Rockhead. Sturdy is not useful, as this isn't Generation 5 yet. Come on. Yes, got it. Yeah, well, Sudowoodo is a great Pokemon. I did consider using it, as I said. It just didn't really find much of a place on my team, as I did have some Pokemon that were going to be using rock moves. Sudowoodo, the imitation Pokemon, although it always pretends to be a tree, its composition appears similar to rock-thin vegetation. That is actually interesting, as Sudowoodo is based on a plant, though not in the way you'd expect. It's based on petrified wood, which is a tree that has been buried in the ground and just had the cavity that the tree left filled up with minerals, becoming essentially a fossil rock, a fossil tree. It's really interesting, and being someone who is a geology person like myself, I like it. It's a very clever Pokemon, and its name also makes sense. Sudowoodo. Fake wood. I love it. Also, this lady, she gives you berries. She's, I believe that's the younger sister of the person in the goldenrod gardening place that gave us the squirt bottle. And for Ecruteak City, just go north here. Yeah, this is what I mean when I said that this place was a circle. You have Violet City over here, you have Goldenrod over here, and you have Ecruteak City up here. I, for the life of me, never knew how to pronounce Ecruteak City when I was younger. I was like, Ecruteak. I never knew how to pronounce it. It wasn't until I watched the Johto anime, which, if you watch the Johto anime, just don't. If you're planning to, just skip it. It's so long. It's like almost all filler. The original series was filler. This just drags on forever. Thankfully it didn't want to go into the gym. When I mistake a gym for a Pokemon Center, I am so unfocused. Well, we got Sudowoodo, and I think next we head over to Ecruteak City. Ecruteak City is kind of where this game starts to get a bit more difficult in terms of levels and experience, as we are going to be going against a lot more difficult Pokemon. Whitney's Miltank was the start of this, but Ecruteak City is really where things get a bit more difficult. We are going to be not making too much in the way of progress into other areas after we get to Ecruteak City, because after we get to Ecruteak, there's a lot of stuff that we actually can do. Now, Ecruteak City is a bit of an interesting place. There are some items you can get there. I'm not going to be going over too much, but there is an item we can get that it kind of makes backtracking to old areas a bit more of an interesting option to do, as there are certain things you can do now. Though I don't recommend backtracking a whole lot, as there's something else we're going to be getting in Ecruteak City that will make backtracking happen even more. Route 37. There's a few trainer battles here. I might battle them, I might not. I don't even know. I don't think I might battle them, I might not. You actually have to battle these two trainers up here. So I think I'm probably just going to go... I don't even know what I'm going to do. I am so unfocused today. I'm just going to go cut recording and figure out what I'm going to do later. Alright, time to go over the encounters on both Routes 36 and Route 37. Starting off, we have a version exclusive with Growlithe. Starting off, this Pokemon might not seem too interesting with its stats, and its evolution by a Firestone. However, when it evolves into Arcanine, it becomes a pretty good mixed attacker. It's the kind of mixed attacker a Sergeant Fire type wishes it could be. Also, an interesting thing of note is that we'll always hold a Rost Berry when encountered, so if you're looking for those, you might as well be catching all the ones you find. I'm personally not going to, as I don't have much of a need for Rost Berries. But as to how it performs, as I said, it was a good mixed attacker, but has a very wide move pool of both physical and special attacks to choose from. The only problem with this is that it evolves with a Firestone, meaning if you want those good moves, you're going to need to wait pretty late into the game with a Growlithe before you can evolve into Arcanine. Arcanine only learns one move by level up, that is level 39, where it learns Extreme Speed, one of the few Pokemon to learn Extreme Speed, a base 80 power normal priority move. This is a very powerful move, but in my opinion, it's not worth getting an Arcanine so early just to get that. I'd recommend waiting to get some of the better fighter and other mixed coverage moves that Growlithe gets before evolving. Because the bug catching contest is open to us and the Pokeavalon Dome, you can get Firestones that way. The Pokeavalon Dome is how you get most of the evolution items, as is the bug catching contest. The bug catching contest is RNG. The Pokeavalon Dome is just day of the week. On to another fighting type. Not another fighting type, another fire type. Jeez. It is Vulpix. This is also a Pokemon that has a 100% chance of holding a Rost Berry. This is a SoulSilver exclusive, unlike the HeartGold exclusive Growlithe. When it evolves, it is a fast special defender. It has very high speed for what it is, base 100, and very good special defense, 100 there as well. 81 special attack and mid-70s physical stats. Not exactly the best, however, it is a special focus Pokemon, unlike Arcanine's mixed focus. It can do well as a special fire type defender. Fire type does have a lot of good resistances of moves that are both physical and special. It can do that job very well. Though it does also have a very interesting move pool. It gets Psychic moves, which we are getting into the territory where Pokemon are going to start learning more Psychic moves. We've already seen some wild Psychic types. Togepi itself will have a Psychic move on it, and we passed Butterfree a while back, which you can now get in both games because of the bug catching contest, which can get Psychic moves. So that isn't too much of a special thing that Ninetales can do. It, much like Arcanine, it does well with the Firestone, so most of its best moves are learned by Vulpix, and it isn't going to be learning much as the Ninetales. And finally, rounding out our list of encounters, we have Stantler. This is a Pokemon that is kind of unimpressive stat-wise. It's an okay mixed attacker with kind of below-average moves. Being a normal type also doesn't really help you because you don't get type effectiveness on anything. However, Stantler is a bit of a cut above the other standard normal types. Its abilities are Frisk and Intimidate. Intimidate, I wouldn't recommend using on it because Stantler isn't going to be doing much in terms of offense because it's low offensive stats. But the one thing it excels at is with Frisk. It's not exactly the Pokemon you're going to want to use as an attacker, in my opinion. It's much better as sort of a tactical, helping you get things Pokemon. Frisk allows you to search, well, it tells you if the opponent is holding an item. When you combine this with Compound Eyes, a strategy that a Pokemon I mentioned previously has it, Butterfree, this boosts I can't speak right. I mentioned a while back, Butterfree has Compound Eyes. Compound Eyes increases the chance of Pokemon in the wild holding an item if that Pokemon is in the front of your party. This works if the Butterfree is fainted. Combining this with Frisk allows you to much more reliably get those wild held items. You can have Butterfree out front fainted, you get the increased odds of finding the held item from Pokemon, have the Stantler with Frisk in the lead, well not in the lead, the Stantler with Frisk in the second spot, because the Butterfree is fainted, so the Stantler always goes out first. The Pokemon is holding an item, Frisk will trigger and tell you, blah blah, Pokemon is holding this item. If the item you want, you can catch it and get that item a lot easier, or just teach the Stantler Thief, which I don't know if we can get yet, and just get the item much easier. It's a very good strategy to get a certain evolution item that a couple of Pokemon can make use of, and we are going to find the Pokemon that is holding the item. The Pokemon in question that I am talking about is Magneton. It can hold the Metal Coat, and as we have already seen with with Scyther and Onix, they evolve using the Metal Coat. The Metal Coat is typically an item that you either have to beat the game to get, and I believe it is also in the Pokeathlon. So, I don't know about the Pokeathlon, I just think it's there. I know for a fact Wild Magnemite can hold it. If you want to just go catch a bunch of Magnemite because you want to use a Magnemite on your team, which we aren't going to get, Magnemite is coming up in a couple of routes, but if you want to do that, it's very helpful. Using Frisk in combination with Compound Eyes is one of the best strategies you can use, and it just all around makes getting Steelix or Scizor much easier. You don't have to spend so much time just to beat the game with an Onix or a Scyther, and then trade, and then you have a fully evolved Pokemon that you wanted kind of since the start of the game. Again, Stantler isn't exactly the best Pokemon to use as an attacker. It's more useful sort of tactically, helping you get things, because there are also some wild held items that are pretty good that you're going to want in general. Some held berries, and some held berries in particular are pretty good, and also just some held items like that, some items that are evolution items, like the Metal Coat, as I mentioned. I don't know what is with me and why I am so unfocused today. I'm just kind of tripping over my words. Well, hopefully I'm not tripping over my battling, because we are going to win this, hopefully. Please tell me I'm faster than that. Clefable, yeah, Clefable is that. No, don't go fire some bro. Okay, I'm pretty sure that this is going to work. Alright, Cute Charm or Attract, right. I hate Cute Charm, I hate that ability. This is what I mean by Attract being annoying. Attract and Cute Charm both have the same effect, and as you're seeing right there, yeah, it's annoying. If you make physical contact with a Pokemon that has Cute Charm, it will give you the Infatuation status. Alright, this is 4 Pokemon, right? Callion, you're switching out. Thankfully, the Fable is gone, so I can actually use Firestorm's Flame Wheel. Right, thankfully I'm gonna get that Blaze boost right now. Yeah, I don't think they did a lot. It did not do much more. Why are they going for Megalon? Okay, I mean, I'm not complaining. Lemonade, yeah, 8. Yeah, this is what I mean. The Lemonade is just a much better item to heal than the Super Potion. Just it's cheaper, restores more HP, all around a better option. Alright, break. I'm probably gonna try to refrain from using Megalon in the coming couple of battles just because it's just gonna outshine everything because it's much higher stats and just better moves. Now that Togepi also evolved. But it's gonna be more useful too. The next gym is really where, if you've thought that Callion shined against Bugsy, it's gonna shine even more against the next gym. I cannot speak. Alright. Alright, there we go. Strong game experience. Again, this is what I mean when I said trainer levels are just so low. This isn't exactly my favorite thing about this game is that they are low levels. There are enough complaints to be had about this game, but one thing I like is, at the very least, they do give you some good Pokemon early on. And the TM corner the TMs in the game corner are also pretty helpful, though they take a while to get. I'm probably going to go to the game corner and get those TMs after we beat this next coming gym, mostly because that's when Firestorm is going to become a lot more useful for gyms. Now we have arrived in Ecruteak. I just love the music in the city. It's very different than some of the other areas in this game, and always just stood out to me. It's kind of relaxing and just different in general. Don't really know how to describe it. I'm Bill. Who are you? Max, huh? You know what? I'm the one who developed the Pokemon system to transfer Pokemon. But I couldn't have done with me alone. For example, in the Hoenn region, Grow and Net from Hoenn made the Pokemon storage system easier to use. Our islands all over the world working together to improve the Pokemon trade and storage systems. Hurry up and get back to Goldenrod to see my folks. This is Bill, of course, as we mentioned. We're going to want to go back to Goldenrod to see him. There's a Pokemon he will give us, though, in my opinion, that Pokemon isn't overly worth it. We're probably going to head back to... Why am I messing up so much? Bill does have a Pokemon for us. I'm not going to go and get it right now just because, in my opinion, it's not exactly the best option. That and it's not, in my opinion, worth it going to get because it does take a very long time to get them evolved and their moves also aren't the best. We'll be going over them more when we get to them. But we have reached Ecruteak City. There's a lot to do here from just the look of it. This is it's not as big as Goldenrod, but there is definitely some more things to do here. I don't remember which house exactly it is, and I know it's somewhere over here. Nope, no, wrong house. The sky suddenly turned black and a giant flying Pokemon blocked out the sun. I wonder what that Pokemon was. It was like a bird, like a dragon. Interesting. Is there really a Pokemon that big? If it exists, it must be powerful. Bit of foreshadowing. Get it? Foreshadowing. I blocked out the sun. Is this the right house? I know it's by the gym. Yes, I think this guy. Ah, you're an adventure with your Pokemon. Well, what's an adventure without treasure hunting? Am I right, or am I right? You are right, my friend. Good, you understand the spirit of adventure. I like that. Take this with you. We obtained the dowsing Mucken. There are items that are hidden that we can't normally see, and this allows us to find them. This is an interesting item, and I would say you should use this and go backtrack to a bunch of older areas, because there are hidden items where we previously were, though the items that are in the previous areas are not helpful. They're mostly just, oh, here's a potion, here's an antidote, here's a bunch of items you already have a bunch of and aren't going to be using anymore. They're not too helpful. So I don't really see much of a problem going back for them. Here we actually do have some berries. I'm gonna go over the berry mechanics right now. The berry pots are very useful, though we don't have any berries to use them with. I'm probably just gonna put a bunch of orange berries in there. You can fertilize them as we get that option. That we have to go back to Goldenrod City and get the fertilizer for them. They help berries grow faster, or a few other things they can also do. Not overly necessary, though they are pretty helpful. We're going to be heading back to Goldenrod anyway to go see the Pokemon Bill is talking about, but I kind of want to get some stuff done in Ecruteak first. Actually, there is one item in Ecruteak City I do want to find with the dowsing machine, because I know it's actually pretty useful. Yeah, the screen will light up when an item is nearby. Right here. Hyper Potion. Yep, that's what it was. We are probably not going to get those for a while. Oh yeah, there's one over here, right? The lamp. Yeah, that's probably not going to be too pleasant, sticking your hand into a lamp. Ultra Ball. Okay, yeah. Yeah, this is where the items are actually kind of good. They're not a whole bunch of good ones in the previous areas. Yes, there is one over here. Let's see. Over here. Ether. Alright. Yeah, there's a few good items around here. I don't know exactly where all of them are. That's why I'm going around and just checking them. You can go pick these up. If you don't need the dowsing machine to find these, you can find them normally if you just remember the locations of them. Or you just look up a guide. Alright. Rare candy. Okay, these are... I think there might be some rare candy scattered around in previous areas, though... To my knowledge, you need some HMs we don't have yet. Yeah, we have everything done. This big fancy looking house. Ecruteak Dance Theater. Might want to remember this place and come back later. I thought I just heard a woman screaming or something. Is that just me? I certainly hope it was just you. Alright, so we are healed up fully. Let's get going. Alright, we have reached the Ecruteak Gym. Leader Morty, the Mystic Seer of the Future. Yeah, that kind of gives off the impression he's probably a Psychic type trainer or something. He may be, he may not be. We'll have to wait and find out. Next time on Pokemon HeartGold and SoulSilver, we are going to be exploring that burned tower in the northwest corner of Ecruteak City and possibly going to go challenge that Morty person. Refresh your Pokemon. Yes, I would. Actually, this episode... Yeah, go next time. Yeah. See you next time. Just edit out some of that stuff that I kept messing up on. If not, just extend the time normally.